Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, but we also have a guest today, and that is Chase Howard. Welcome to our show, Chase.
What's up? Nice to see you.
We're going to start off with Jay with the interview, and I'll be back with a few questions, and then we'll kind of bounce back and forth for a bit before we close out.
All right. Well, Chase, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you had a busy schedule last week, tried to get it in between a couple of races, and that didn't work out. But being able to be here today and do this post race is just as good. But I want fans to get to know you as far as who you are and where you've come from now. So if you'll talk about your history in racing so far, and I know you got a lot of history, if you will, even at 20 years old.
Not really. I started when I was 13, and actually started in 360 sprint cars. Stayed around that for a little while, then worked my way up to a little bit of 410 stuff, and then a little bit of non-wing 410 stuff, and hit and miss, midget, micro stuff, and all dirt, by the way. Haven't done any pavement stuff till recently, but yeah, these past two ARCA deals have been pretty cool to be a part of. Definitely a big learning curve, but I'm excited to do all that and see where it takes me.
Well, I recently got to talk to you, and it was in Victory Lane at Jackson Motor Speedway. You were at the Hurricane Area Super Sprints. What other series have you actually run with in some of the tracks that you've hit? I know you've run all over Mississippi. How about outside of that?
Yeah, I mean, we've run ASCS, USCS. I think I've run like 2 World of Outlaw shows, one high limit show, handful of USAC stuff, Power Rise stuff, just pretty much everything you could think of on dirt and sprint car stuff. So it's pretty cool.
All right. Well, and you mentioned it. Now, when somebody asked me whether or not you'd ever run asphalt before, I said, honestly, I wasn't sure. I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure. So Sharon's going to talk about that, as you got to have certainly a new experience then here with the ARCA Menards series. So Sharon?
Yes, Chase, you were recently raced at DuQuoin State Fairgrounds and then also at Salem Speedway, one of the more historic tracks in the ARCA Menards series. So I know you have a dirt background. So let's talk about DuQuoin first, because you did a really good job there. You came home with the 7th place finish. What were your expectations going into DuQuoin?
I'll put it like we did on the last podcast. I really had no idea what to expect because I've never done anything like that before. Like, I've always been in like sprint cars or, like I said, micros and midgets. Nothing stock car side, that heavy is a huge difference in itself. So, or I've never been on a mile before, so that's another huge difference too. No, it was cool. It didn't take me that long to figure it out. Maybe about 10 laps or so and practice. Then obviously I'm still learning. But no, the coin deal was pretty cool. It was actually 7th was actually the team's best finish since they've been in the ARCA side of things. And then Salem was it was a whole different deal too, because I'm still new to the stock car stuff. And then on top of that, pavement too. It was my first ever pavement start. So big learning curve. I think I was like 16th in practice, and then I finished 13th. So I mean, we went forward all night and finished. It wasn't amazing, I don't think, but it's a start.
Well, I think considering your background and the fact that you'd never been in a stock car before, I think it was pretty impressive. And I'll tell you something I've said to a lot of racers. I think being a dirt racer really helps you when you're racing on pavement, because you're kind of used to those slip and slide situations, and you know how to handle that. Somebody who's never raced on dirt is, I think, less prepared to handle that. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was. I think it does definitely help me going from dirt to pavement than it would from pavement to dirt. Just because, like you said, I am kind of used to being on the edge a little bit more and looser car feel and just not a whole lot of grip in general. The grip that pavement has definitely was a little bit different. It took some time to get used to, like entering speed and how much it would actually hold me. I'm still getting used to that, but I mean, I think I've figured it out probably about halfway through the feature there. And so by then I was like 6 laps, 7, 8 laps down. So I'm just
Okay, now
learning.
you're racing with Tim Goulet, okay, and he's a partner in the ARCA Menards series, team owner. You said you got the best finish for the team. So I bet Tim was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, no, they were pretty excited. I think he really didn't know what to expect of me either, because we really haven't. I didn't meet him until that Tuesday or Wednesday of the week of, when we went to Mooresville to get my seat insert done and get fitted and all that. We were new to each other too, and we both went into it open minded and just did the best we could. I think he said I impressed him a little bit more than he thought I would, so that's cool to hear. I didn't really expect anything. I just wanted to see what I had, do what I could, and whatever happened.
Okay. And I've got some more questions along those lines, but I know Jay has a few questions, and I'm going to let him ask his questions.
Well, I talked about getting to interview you and at Jackson. You weren't alone there, first and second. And this morning I was going through and I tried to find yours. I didn't. I found the Scooby-Doo one, though, of your dad. Talk about that of the family history racing that you
Third
have.
generation.
No, like you said, third generation. My granddad raced, and then my dad raced, and well, he's still trying to.
Ooh.
And then this is my 8th year racing, so it's pretty cool family deal. I mean, not just that. My cousins race, my uncle race, just about anybody you can think of probably did at some point. So pretty cool deal.
Well, I know you're one of those teams in where you guys parked over there in the corner. Maybe not all of them had the Howard name, but it was a family over there. I think you guys came in with about 20 people over there and had your own little corner to the track.
We all come from the kind of same area, so we're all kind of big friend group.
And that's generally the case, especially when we see ones like that throughout, especially here in Mississippi. I know there's about 10 different racing families that I can talk about. But with that and traveling, tell me a little bit, what's the favorite track you've been to or favorite race, somebody you've battled? I know you mentioned being in a couple of World of Outlaw high limit race. Are there any that stand out as far as tracks and or drivers that you got to race with or battle?
As far as tracks, I think my favorite would have been Volusia in Florida, down towards Daytona. I love that place. It's just super nice facility, super nice, and I mean, I like the bigger tracks too. But Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri is also a really good one. I actually won a prelim at the Hockett last year, which is pretty cool. Drivers I've raced with, I've raced and beaten Tony Stewart, Chase Briscoe, Stenhouse Jr. I've raced with, I think I've raced with Kyle Larson before. There's countless names that I've raced with before. Just another car to me, I guess.
Right, I know, I understand that. Once you get in the car, it's not necessarily the enemy, but not your friend, right?
Yeah.
And that includes your dad, who you say he said in his interview it was nice to let you let him lead a couple laps before you went smoking on by him.
Right. I had to make him feel good at least.
For dirt fans, if you don't know Volusia down in Florida, I would have to agree that is one of the better ones. I've been down there for back when the late models used to go down there for part of speed weeks. I've been down to the track. I've never seen the sprint cars run there. But you mentioned Lucas Oil Speedway, and that's one of mine as far as a dirt track, a bucket list track. Do you have any cool as a driver that you would like to get to that you haven't yet?
Nah, not really. I would like to visit Knoxville. I've never been there yet. Volusia was always on my list, and kind of knocked it off. I never really thought of what was next. I'd say El Toro would be a good one. Knoxville would be a good one. I've actually always wanted to go to Tulare or Ventura too at some point. So those would be pretty cool to go visit as far as the dirt side of stuff.
All right. Well, I'll throw one out there for you, and I know you've been to the MAG here in Columbus, Mississippi, but if you get to go up Wisconsin way, Cedar Lake Speedway, I think that track it has a lot of similarities to the MAG.
I've raced it on iRacing. It looks pretty cool. It seems racy. I love the MAG too. It's always racy down there. It's always middle, low, high groove. Always, something to do. I like all tracks really. As long as they're somewhat racy and have 2 grooves. I like all of them. I'm not too picky.
What's your car number? Talk about that. I know a lot of times there is a very deep history with car numbers, but yours has a little bit more significance with it now. I know you said it's been about 2 years since you've had it on there.
So the 13 obviously comes from how old I was when I started, and I actually didn't start with the 13. I actually started with a 44C, which, 44 is my dad number. I just put a C behind it because, my name. And I changed that probably 2 years in, 13, and then about 2 years ago I thought to put my favorite Bible verse on there, which is Philippians 4:13. I put the Philippians 4 in front of the 13, so it's kind of, reads into it, but at just a cool little up close, detail.
It is, and I really like the way you worked it into it. We see a lot of drivers on late models, it's on their spoilers. You obviously can't do that, but to have worked it into your branding on your number, I thought that was really cool, so I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
All right, Sharon, I know you got a couple more here, and then give any shout outs that he wants to as far as sponsors.
Now, I know that we've talked about you racing with Tim Goulet, and you mentioned that you were 13 when you started racing. I know a lot of times the race car drivers start when they're like 4 or 5 years old. So, and you mentioned iRacing. So you've been in iRacing starting at 13 years of age, or did you start iRacing before then?
I actually started iRacing when I was about 15 or 16 because that's about the time they added the dirt stuff. Before then, when I started, I never really cared about any of the NASCAR stuff or really even any of the dirt stuff. I just wanted to drive a race car just for fun, and then I actually got good at it. So here we are. I think it's a great tool now to use on dirt and asphalt just to, get used to everything and learn a little bit.
I was going to tell you too, we've had Chase Briscoe on our show before it was YouTube. We were on Blog Talk Radio, and Chase Briscoe used to come on quite a bit when he was racing the ARCA Menards series. So you're following in some good footsteps there.
Yeah. I think it's kind of everybody's stepping stone.
With the couple of races that you raced this year in the ARCA Menards series, does that give you any feel for maybe wanting to race more ARCA races? Do you have any more this year that you're going to be racing? There's only one more race after this week.
Yeah, so they've got Kansas this weekend and then Toledo. But I think we're going to try and talk Tim into going out west a little bit at the end of the year. I think he's going to run the bull ring, and we're working on getting something together and sponsors wound up for Phoenix,
Oh,
so I
that's
can run
awesome.
it. So that'll be a more good experience with the West Series out there. Going it open-minded and see what we can do, figure out.
Okay. Well, we've had Robbie Keneally on the show as well as Kyle Keller. They're running second and fourth, I think, in the series point standings right now, as well as Jan Quackenbush, who is their team owner. So we'll have to see if we can't get Tim Goulet on sometime.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to do it if he could get some time off from working on the car. Tim, he's always doing something. He's wound up. He's doing something all the time. So
I find that most race car drivers and owners are pretty darn busy.
yeah, a little bit.
But what do you do when you're not racing?
Besides iRacing, I'd have to point out that we do. I do a bunch of different helmet wraps and designs. We do, side by side wraps and cars and whatnot, and designs and graphic design stuff. I do a lot of helmets. Yeah, it's a lot of time invested in it, but I like the outcome of them. Just like it. It's pretty cool.
Okay, well, I think that's pretty cool that you do that. Is there a place that we can see some of your helmets?
Yeah, you can go on to CH Designs on Facebook or Instagram, and it's got every one of them since I started.
Oh, very cool. CH Designs on Facebook or where? Instagram?
Yep. That's it.
Okay, I will definitely check that out. Some other people may want to follow you as you continue to kind of get your feet wet in ARCA Menards series. And with the upcoming races that are coming up, you're on social media besides your helmet page? Do you have a racing page as well?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Chase Howard Racing, Chase Howard 13 on Instagram, and CH Racing on X. So follow those and keep updated on all those platforms.
Okay. And I still call it Twitter too.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I haven't changed yet.
I know that the race car driver is the kind of the front guy for all the work that goes on behind the scenes and the people that support you. So at the end of our shows, we usually give our guests a chance to kind of shout out some of the people that have helped you in your career and that you want to give a special shout out to before we close out your interview.
We could sit here all day if I counted everybody. Can't thank everybody
I
enough.
know.
But I mean, I've got to give out a shout out to Kurt at Angry Duck, Josh, Two Fellas Moving Company, C&J Enterprises, Mama Frogs, Beef and Pork Rub, Slammed Enough, Providence Supply. You know, there's countless. I can't thank them all enough. I know I'm probably forgetting a bunch that I should mention, but you know,
there's so many. I know.
Yeah, it's. I should have brought a note in front of me or something, but no, I'm extremely thankful.
Yes, I know you are. And we're talking about your helmets. Who's the most famous person you've done a helmet for?
Besides myself, I'd have to say I did one for Joe Lenotti a couple years ago. I did one, I think last year for Kaylee Bryson. Probably the two most well known I could probably think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, keep going because that's a good side job that you have going on there. But I can't wait to watch you more on the racing side of things and knowing there's a chance that we might see you at the Bull Ring and again at Phoenix yet this year is really cool. What about next year?
Next year, we don't have anything locked down for sure, but I think Tim and I are going to try and do the DuQuoin again as well as Springfield and hit and miss like 3 to 5 different pavement shows on top of that. As much as I'd like to do the full time, either national or east, I just can't do it yet without the funding from sponsors. So for now, we'll just hit and miss what we can and get some experience.
Okay, sponsors, we've got a race car driver here that wants to race. You got to contact Chase Howard, so let's get it done. Okay, well, Chase, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And we hope this isn't the last time. This is just the first of many, we hope, as you continue your career. Jay?
I just want to say again, thank you for coming on here. I know we had to work through your busy schedule there as you were doing those races. By all means, like Sharon said.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. I'm sure Tim would love to be on here next time.
Okay. That sounds awesome. Well, Chase, you've been a pleasure to talk to, and I can't wait for the next one, especially the next race. So on the ARCA side, I'm so thankful that you were able to take some time to be with us today.
Yep. Thanks for the invite.